it's Chris with Rockin Farm, and yes, it has been quite some time since I put a video out. We're coming off of a month-long hiatus, and you probably want to know why. Well, if you've been watching the channel for any period of time at all, I think most people realize that it seems like I go on this month-long hiatus every January. I'm actually thinking that it's just something I'm going to plan on doing in the future. So why? Why was I gone? Why was I not filming? Well, I mean, if we just put it really simply, January is a month where we kind of get a lot of rest in. January is a month where you're winding down from all the holiday stress. January is a month where we are doing lots of stuff, but none of it is necessarily worth filming. And even if I am doing something that I could film, I've probably filmed it in years past. So it's just a good time to take a break. So that puts me in a position now where it is going to be the first video in February, and I want to make sure I get a February video out. And of course, it's pouring rain today. I'm filming in the rain. I'm filming in the rain. So we're more or less going to be doing a little bit of a farm update. Like, what have we been up to that wasn't really worth filming? Kind of combine it all into one video and reintroduce ourselves to the Rockin Farm family. So one of the big things that we got done here was a good share of garden cleanup. We came in here and I do kind of wish I'd gotten this on video. My 6-year-old actually cut back all of the asparagus, and for 6 years old, y'all, he did a great job. We got garlic in back in November, so that's not really anything that y'all have missed out on. We did get our onions ordered and got our onions planted. It's something like 800 onions this year, y'all. We like our onions. We go through a lot of onions, so we planted a lot of onions. They're actually doing okay. A little bit of stress from some cold weather that we've had, but onions are in the ground. Something else that I'm not sure if I announced is that Dot did have her babies back on December 22nd. I'm not sure if I announced that in any of the videos that I've done so far, so she had a very boar-heavy litter, 7 boars and 3 gilts. Few of them look really good, and we've actually already got almost all those pigs sold. So it was a good time to bring another pig onto the farm. So we have Dot as one of our breeding sows. Y'all know Panchita. She was the very first one to have piglets on our farm, and you're going to see her in a second. But we also brought home a young lady named Ellie, and Ellie is also pregnant and probably going to be due sometime in the next 2 weeks at the most. So y'all remember my sweet girl Panchita. She's a great pig and we love each other very much, but this is Ellie. Say hi, Ellie. In addition to Panchita, Dot, and Ellie, who are all sows now because they've all had litters of babies before, we did decide to keep one of the little girls from Panchita's litter, and we decided to keep one of the little girls from Dot's litter. So their names are Ruby and Esmeralda, or Esme for short. We've kind of got a little bit of a Hispanic names thing going on here. Pigs like Ellie and Dot, those are pigs that we bought who were already older, had another owner, already had names. And believe it or not, pigs know their names pretty well, so we didn't want to change their names on them. But any pig that is brought onto this farm that isn't named or that is born on this farm tends to have a Hispanic name. We think it's kind of fun. So this noisy little girl right here, the cream and ginger one, that is Ruby. This one here is going to be a breeder on somebody else's farm. And this little girl here is going to be raised up on our farm to fill our freezer. Esme is somewhere over here in the pig pile. I'm going to have to show her to y'all after I get some of her brothers and sisters home. Pretty much every pig in this litter is sold and or we're keeping, because there is one gilt in here that is not breed quality that is also going to go in our freezer. And then we're keeping Esme. The rest have all either been sold as breeders or feeders. And then there's also a super tiny runt that's kind of buried in there with his brothers and sisters right now that we are going to keep on the farm as either one of two things. He is super tiny. He's doing well, he's healthy, but he's literally a third to a quarter of the size of his siblings. So he's staying on the farm. He'll either end up being a roaster pig, or we have contemplated the possibility of castrating him and keeping him around as what I would call a partner barrow. The pigs don't like to be alone. So if I'm ever in a situation where I have to put a pig out in a pasture and I don't have another buddy to hang out with them, he would be that pig that I could grab from wherever he's at and put him out there with them so that they can keep each other company. Now, in addition to going crazy with the pigs, we've been going crazy with our incubator as well. We are in chick overload here on Rockin Farm. This is a mixed flock, but they are all pure breeds. I've got Iam Samanis in here. I've got silver-laced English Orpingtons in here, buff English Orpingtons, lemon cuckoo English Orpingtons. There's even a few diamond jubilee English Orpingtons in here. Those are the ones that are about 3 weeks old, and these are the ones that have been born within the last 2 weeks. So the indoor brooding setup is working out really, really well. As soon as these guys are fully feathered out, we can cut the lights, although by that time they might be out here and not fully feathered out, but it's working out really well. We've got feed, we've got water, we've got warmth, they're out of the wind. We've had very, very little loss, and overall I think it's been going great. Now the vast majority of these, the reason we hatch so many is because I've talked about the poultry auction that we like to go to. That poultry auction is going to start back up the second Sunday. I don't remember if it's first or second Sunday in March. And by then, these birds are going to have some size on them. So we're going to be able to hopefully determine who's a rooster, who's a pullet, and sell them as roosters or pullets. Whatever we don't sell at that first month's auction, we'll just bring them back here, put them back in the brooding room, and continue to get some size on them. Because especially with the roosters, the bigger and more beautiful the rooster is, the more it sells for at auction. There's a lot of purebred enthusiasts there, and they're willing to pay up for purebred roosters, especially when they've got some really good, beautiful plumage on them. They take them back home and roll them into their own program so they can mix up their genetics, etc. So, yeah, raising a whole bunch of chicks to start getting ready for auction, and then also, you know, if I see any chicks in here that are a nicer quality of chicken than my existing chickens in my breeding flocks, well, we cull the old and bring in the new. So that's kind of the project that's going on right now with all the chicks. But that incubator, man, it's been running pretty much 24/7. About every 5 cycles, we stop collecting eggs for a couple of weeks in order to get it through to where it runs all the way through a cycle, so I can clean it out real good, clean the incubator out real good, and then eggs go right back in and we fire it back up. And the last thing that happened during the month of January, which is definitely worth mentioning, is that we made a pretty major purchase on the farm, and definitely an upgrade from having to borrow and or rent. So I'd like to introduce everybody to Blue Betty, the pig rig. She's already had her maiden voyage. We hooked her up to go pick up Ellie from my friend Melinda at 8th Time Family Farm. In just about 10 days, we'll be taking our 2 barrows to the processor. So, I mean, as soon as we got it on the land, we were putting it to use, and I think we're going to get a lot of years of really good use out of Blue Betty the pig rig. So that's your farm update, y'all. Hope you're glad to see me back. We'll get this thing rolling again. January's over. Time to stop being a goofball. Start getting these videos out. Keep your eyes open Thursday for a video that's going to be talking about preparing for a farm sitter. There's a lot of good information in that one. Till I see y'all again, this has been Chris with Rockin Farm. Be happy and live healthy.